would be your dream partner for her? Because I know you think she could do better, and I don't disagree. Who would be your pick? It maybe
self-deprecating right now.
I have this very weird mix of not thinking I'm good looking, general low self-esteem, chip on my shoulder that I'm dumb because I was dyslexic, all these things. Yet, unbridled arrogance in relationships. Have always been that way.
My real life husband and I are opposites attract. It just meant we did have to have a lot of patience for each other to figure out what the compromises would be. And a general understanding that we're probably gonna have different viewpoints on almost everything. You have to decide, and you get to decide too, how much of the me you're willing to let go of in order to get the we. And everyone has different things they're willing to let go of, and that's all okay.
You must have something that I don't see.
you were super attractive. You're 16. Living on your own at 16, and you're hot. My last question is.
Oh, I didn't think it would ever end.
Welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to talk about the relationship dynamic between Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard. I've had my eye on Dax Shepard for quite a while, and I actually wanted to include him in two of my previous videos. One of them was Men Who Hate Their Wives, and the other one was An Insecure Man Will Punish You for Loving Him. And in both of those videos, I actually had a little section about Dax that I wanted to include, but then I was like, there's too much to say about Dax Shepard, and you can't really just give like, you know, TLDR version, because there's so much context, and they just put out so much information about themselves and about their relationship that I kind of feel like he deserves his own video. And obviously recently Dax Shepard has gone viral because of his interview with Cher, where he was asking her ridiculous questions. He was weaponizing his insecurity. He was fishing for compliments and also fishing for insults. He was just being like... Anyway, I just want to say a few things before we begin. I am not particularly interested in celebrities. I do, however, like paying attention to relationship dynamics so that I can point them out, and I can point out what I believe to be dysfunctional, toxic, or abusive situations or dynamics, and how we can kind of like recognize that in our own lives and in our own relationships. Because every time I talk about dysfunctional relationship dynamics, people will be like, oh my god, my ex used to do that, oh my god, I didn't realize I was in that situation, blah blah blah. So that's the only reason why I'm doing it. I'm not just here to be like gossiping about celebrities, because I actually don't care. I am more interested in pointing out the dysfunction, the toxicity, and perhaps some abusive dynamics that are going on, so that we can educate ourselves and we can like keep it up here, so that if this situation happens to us, we'll know, stay away from this person. I have been in situations with people like Dax Shepard who are clearly very insecure, but have a really inflated sense of entitlement and really grandiose beliefs about themselves, which I'm not sure if they deserve to have them or if that's valid or warranted in any way, shape or form. But these people will not treat you very well at all, and they know that you deserve better, so they'll try and like neg in order to make sure that you never leave them, because you can't do any better. They know that you can do better, but they don't want you to know that. I think Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard are both insecure people, but it shows up in very different ways, and we'll talk about that later on. I also just want to say that for anyone who doesn't know, the reason why I talk so much about relationships is because I've actually been studying somatic therapy for the last 5 years. So when I started studying somatic therapy, I did like just like somatic experiencing type situations, and then I went into kind of deeper on relational trauma, because sometimes not all trauma is caused by relationships, not just relationships, intimate relationships or romantic relationships, but like family relationships, colleague relationships, friendship relationships. Like a lot of trauma is caused by being in relation with other people, the things that people do to us, the pain that is inflicted on us emotionally, physically, mentally because of another person. Sometimes trauma is an accident, and it's like, it's not necessarily someone did this to me, you did this to me. Some things are just tragedies, you know, like fires or car crashes or disease. It's not necessarily like you purposely inflicted that pain on me. But a lot of trauma that I've experienced was because of being in relationships with other people. So that's why I'm interested in it, because not only am I interested in relationship dynamics, but also recovery from these dysfunctional, abusive and toxic relationships. So that's why I like to kind of use these viral celebrity moments or reality TV moments or whatever to kind of be able to dissect things how I see it. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I can't diagnose anyone with anything. I also do like to talk a little bit of shit. So that all combination is why we're here today. That's why we've gathered here today. So I just wanted to point that out for anyone who's wondering, like, what the fuck do you know? I don't know everything, that's for sure, but I do know enough to be able to talk about this. And even just from my own personal experience, I can point it out. And from my somatic relational trauma therapy work, I can also point it out in other ways. Okay, so that's why I'm here. I also just wanted to say, in one of my other videos, the Christian dating advice video, I can't remember the title, but like the terrible Christian dating advice or whatever, I said something about women who post their terrible husbands on the internet and then come to their defense. I said that maybe they should keep it to a diary, or maybe they should talk to their friends about it if they don't want to hear what the internet has to say about it. Now, I've been thinking about that for the last few days, and I've actually changed my mind, because there definitely is a lot of angry people. Stop showing us how awful your husbands are. We don't want to hear about your terrible husband if you're not going to leave him, which I understand. I understand that. But coming from someone who has been in situations where I wasn't ready to leave yet, like I was not ready to leave. You can't leave until you're ready to leave. I think these women who are sharing how awful their husbands are, or the terrible things that their husbands say or do to them, and then come to his defense in the next video, I think they might be at step one. And when you're at step one, you're not at step 10. You're not ready to leave. And being at step one and just putting it out there, even if they're only making a video as a joke, and I didn't know that it was going to go viral. I didn't know that everyone was going to hate my husband after this, and then they have to delete the video and come to his defense and put their page on private and all that kind of stuff. For someone who's at step one, it might be really helpful to have hundreds or thousands of comments from women being like, girl, get out of there. My ex used to do that and now I have a restraining order against him. Girl, get out of that situation. He fucking hates you. Girl, get out of that situation. Yeah. My ex used to do that, and then a month later he abused me or whatever. You know, it might be good for someone who's only on step one. They might not be ready to leave yet. They might still be defending him. But I actually think for these women who are not ready to leave yet, it can be a good thing to have, you know, advice, support, even tough love from hundreds of women, thousands of women. And even a lot of men will be like, hey, no, I would never treat my wife like that. This guy doesn't like you. You know, like a lot of men will comment as well, being like, girly, no, you are not in a good situation, get yourself out of there. So I've actually changed my mind about that. So I said that they should just tell their friends and they shouldn't tell the internet. I've actually changed my mind. I think even if they're not ready to leave their husbands, and even if it is really annoying to see an atrocious husband doing something awful to his wife, and then it is really heartbreaking to see her come to his defense and all that kind of stuff, she's only on level one. We've all been on level 1 before, where you're not ready to be on level 10 yet. So I want to actually change my opinion about that. So this is my updated opinion. So let's watch a few of the clips that I've seen of Kristen and Dax Shepard. I was gonna do a whole, like, they started here and now they're here, but I don't think I'm gonna do like a full deep dive on their relationship, because I actually don't really care that much. I'm more interested in actually just dissecting some of the clips that I've found. Also, just a quick little shameless plug for anyone who is interested in more like podcasty stuff. I do have a podcast on Spotify called Girl Bones, and I've recently started to move that as a video podcast over to YouTube. I've only put up one video so far, but I am going to post more. So I'll leave that link below if anyone wants to hear me talk more about somatic therapy, about healing, about dysfunctional relationship dynamics, about decentering men, about like empowerment and recovery and all that kind of stuff. And you can also ask me questions as well, and I can answer some of your questions. So it's more just like a chit chat kind of vibe. So if you're interested in that, I will leave the link down below. So before I play anything, I just want to say that all of these kind of like words that are on the top and bottom of the videos, I didn't write those, okay? These are just like, I downloaded TikToks and stuff, so they were like on the screen. So any of the words that are on the screen, or any of the text or the emojis or whatever, I did not put them there. So no, I'm not saying that I necessarily disagree with some of them, but I'm just going to say that I didn't put them there. So I just wanted to put to show a few little clips just so we can kind of get started with the video. So this is a clip about Dax Shepard talking about Kristen. So that's just a really quick clip of Dax Shepard talking about the early days of his relationship with Kristen Bell. And yeah, this whole thing of what I was saying earlier about him being very insecure, but it's showing up in like very grandiose ways, which is kind of what shame kind of does the same thing. If someone is feeling shame about who they are, it can show up in completely different ways. Someone who's feeling a lot of shame can also be very egotistical and very superiority kind of complex and very grandiose beliefs about themselves. And I feel like this is kind of what's happening here with Dax. Even though he doesn't feel he doesn't think he's good looking, he, you know, has all these insecurities, he still has unbridled confidence in relationships. And again, that makes me kind of feel like, is he just misogynistic? So even though he feels like a bit of a piece of shit and he doesn't feel very confident in these areas of his life, he still feels so much better than the women that he's with. So of course, even though he's kind of a bit of a piece of shit, he's not good looking, he's not clever, and these are his words, he has all these insecurities, but then he has this massive confidence in relationships when he's with women. Let's listen to Kristen talk in the same interview.
I really, really enjoy you. And at that point, I was definitely in love with him. We were a month and a half in. And I was heartbroken. And, oh God, even thinking about it, it breaks my heart. He said, I'm still casually dating other people. And I was like, because I definitely wasn't. And he said, he was very big about it. He said, that's not what you deserve and that's not what you're asking for, and I'm not going to give you anything half-assed. So in a way, he was extremely responsible with my heart, even though he broke it. And then 4 days later, he texts me and is like, just joking, I can't do this. I would really like to be with you again.
So it seems that's kind of the dynamic from the start of the relationship. He had been in, so Dax Shepard is an ex-addict, and he's sober now. And he also had been in open relationships. He was in an open relationship for 9 years before he ever met Kristen. So he's very used to being with loads of people, having lots of freedom. He's used to not being like tied down or in a committed relationship or whatever. And we're going to get a little bit more into that as we go on. But this is kind of the dynamic. She's like a goody two shoes energy, where she has this like princess energy or whatever, and she fell in love with him after only knowing him for a month and a half, and she definitely wasn't dating other people, and he let her know, like, I'm still hooking up with all these other girls, and she's devastated. So it's kind of that energy of not treat them mean to keep them keen, not necessarily that, but the energy of triggering her anxiety or triggering this feeling of, I want him to pick me because he has all these other women and I'm so in love with him and he's so special and he's so amazing that I really just want him to pick me. And that would mean something. If this guy who has all these options chose me, then that must mean something, you know? For someone who is already feeling insecure, like insecure in her way, not insecure in his way, insecure in her way, to be picked and chosen by a man who has all these options, it might feel special. It's not. It is not, but it might feel special for her. I can't find it right now, but there's another clip of Dax Shepard talking about how he should be praised for not sleeping with other women. He thinks like, this woman, my wife, should be really grateful that I'm not sleeping with other women. And I'll add that clip in next when I'm editing.
Therapy. Yeah. My therapist will be like, you know, it's not Kristen's job. Like, she's not your mom. She's not going to dote on you and be infatuated with your existence. And I'm like, wait, that's not. But I'm giving up so much. I'm not banging anyone. Shouldn't I be doted on and celebrated every time I walk through the door? Shouldn't there be a parade? Shouldn't my daughters, like, every day I've not left, shouldn't they be like, God damn it, Dad. We got one of the good ones.
I also just wanted to show this clip, which I found really, really interesting as well, where they're talking about cheating in relationships and what they think about cheating.
Okay, you ready for a moral dumbfounding, love?
Yeah.
Okay. The secret affair. This is Jonathan Haidt.
A Jonathan Haidt moral dilemma?
Yeah, his moral dumbfounding questions.
Okay.
Like a brother and sister who have sex.
Yeah.
The secret affair. A happily married person has a one-night stand while on a trip. They use protection, never tell their spouse, and the affair never affects their relationship in any way. The marriage remains strong and loving. Is this morally wrong?
Well, this whole thing was a trap. Hi, why don't you be brave?
No, I want to hear you first, because I already know what I think.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I don't care if I don't ever know and it has no impact. I've said it a million times, like my issue with an affair would not be that you had sex with somebody. My potential issue with an affair would be you'd be distracted, you'd be overcome with guilt, it would impact how you treated me. You would not be doing all the things as my partner that I've come to love that you do. That would be my fear, not the thought that you had sex with somebody.
I think the guilt would take over hard on me.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just pause that there for a sec. I find that really interesting. Now, Dax has been in open relationships before. They've made lots of jokes about them being like swingers and stuff. I have no problem if two consenting adults want to have open relationships or like polyamory or whatever. That is completely up to them. So if Dax Shepard is someone who is non-monogamous, that's not what I don't care. Like, I literally don't care. The interesting thing here is if he doesn't have a problem with her sleeping with someone else, that's completely fine. Like, that is completely fine. That doesn't mean that he's a really bad person. It doesn't mean that he's like morally bankrupt in any way, shape or form because he's just not jealous of his wife being with other people. The thing that I found interesting in that clip is the fact that he's like, well, how's it going to impact me? How's that going to impact me? If you cheated on me, he wouldn't care about anything except how it would impact him.
The question, it didn't impact, but I agree.
I understand, but you're knowing that what you did.
Yeah.
I love the idea of doing it.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
and it not
So
affecting
fun.
anything.
Yeah.
Except,
It would.
listen, I don't get stumped by many of these. I would eat a person. I would do all these crazy
Eat
things.
a dog.
Yeah, but
have sex with your sister on vacation. Yeah, you know yourself, and you know that this is impossible. You'd be carrying the guilt, and then when you feel guilty and shame, then you act a certain way, and it would just ripple out. There's no way it could be done. That I accept.
I mean, I feel I should preface this with I didn't always feel this way.
Right.
Because when I met you, I was a very jealous person, and I was bending to the subconscious rules society had given me of television shows of like, my boyfriend cheated on me. Girl, get him out of the house. No fucking way. You asked me the question.
Okay, before we listen to her answer, I just wanted to say that before I met you, I was a very jealous person. Or when we first started dating, I was a very jealous person. Could that have been the fact that he was still seeing lots of other women and he was still sleeping with other women? And it's completely normal that if you have feelings for someone and you are monogamous, again, if someone is non-monogamous then and they're fine with that, I'm not talking about those people, but I'm talking here in this situation. She was madly in love with him. She said she wasn't seeing anyone else. She wasn't interested in seeing anyone else. She was completely enamored by him for whatever fucking reason. I don't know. But anyway, that's her thing. But is it to demonize those feelings of jealousy, to say I was really, really jealous, instead of this is a completely normal reaction to have when I know that the man that I'm in love with or the man that I'm dating or seeing is dating other people or seeing other people, even if they haven't talked about exclusivity yet and they haven't taken their relationship to the next step, is it not still a completely normal feeling to be like, oh, I wish he was just with me, if you are a monogamous person and that's what you kind of want in life? And even this thing of like the TV shows or the society's expectations of, if your man cheats on you, you should like kick him out of the house. And I think that's okay. I don't think that's necessarily society telling us that. I think that is just a natural response to someone who crossed boundaries and disrespected you and didn't care about your feelings, didn't care about your health. And I've spoken about this in other videos. I think cheating is abusive because not only are you physically cheating on your wife or your husband or whatever, but you are gaslighting them, you're driving them crazy, you're lying, you're covering shit up, you're being shady, it's impacting other areas of the relationship. It isn't just the physical act of cheating that's wrong. It is hiding it, covering it up, being sneaky, sneaking around, causing them to doubt themselves, causing them to be suspicious and paranoid. And that like ruins someone's brain. It ruins someone's nervous system, which is why I consider it to be abusive. But anyway, let's listen to the rest of her answer.
Of kind of a would you rather, if I slept with someone versus if I drove our kids drunk. And that put everything in perspective. I was like, if you had an affair, I feel like we could get through that.
Right.
If you drove my kids drunk,
Yeah.
you're packing up. There's
what was
no
really
circumstance in which I would allow you around the kids until I knew you were completely sober and clear-headed.
What was really interesting is we were in a big group of people.
Okay, so what is with this false equivalency? This is what someone like Dax does. I think someone like Dax uses devil's advocate, false equivalencies, hypothetical situations, and again, this like antagonistic energy. He wasn't being very antagonistic here, but he did look really like, that's interesting. Oh, so if I had an affair, we could get through it. Interesting. But if I drove the kids drunk, like, would you rather? Okay, so that's like saying, would you rather your partner cheated on you or would you rather your partner drove your kids drunk? Why are those the only two options? Can we choose neither of these options? Why are these the only two options? Well, it would be so much worse. I know it's really bad that he cheated on you, but it would be so much worse if he drove the kids drunk. So actually you should be really grateful that all he did was cheat on you. Well, when you put it that way, yeah, it's not that bad. It could be so much worse. What is with these hypothetical would you rather false equivalences to try and justify or make it okay that someone is being deceitful and betraying and having sex with someone behind their back? Again, if they are monogamous, I think she is probably like deeply, deeply, deeply lover girl devoted. He's the only man on earth for her. And I think he is, if he could get away with cheating, he probably would. There has been a cheating scandal with him before. Okay, so Katie Edwards, the step-granddaughter of Julie Andrews, revealed that she had a brief fling with Dax Shepard back in 2009. This is 2 years into the relationship Dax was in with Kristen. Okay, so there's photos of them kissing and she said that they spent the night together, and then she claimed that she didn't realize Dax and Kristen were together. And anyway, and then Dax responded to that. He didn't deny that ever happened. He did respond and say that this woman has sold stories about all these other celebrity men, which may be true. Maybe she has slept with a lot of celebrity men and then called them out and maybe made money off it and sold stories. But that doesn't mean that she's lying about actually being with those people and actually being with Dax. Let's have a look at some interviews with Kristen talking about how opposites attract.
Having someone I feel that like is very opposite from me is certainly something that I feel. I feel like my real life husband and I are opposites attract. You know, I feel like always applies. But that doesn't mean we couldn't make it work or didn't want to make it work. It just meant we did have to have a lot of patience for each other to figure out what the compromises would be. And a general understanding that we're probably going to have different viewpoints on almost everything and figure out a respectful way to have those discussions.
Why would you want to be with someone who you disagree with on almost everything and that everything turns into a fight and you're going to have to figure out how to do life together and make it work, even though you absolutely fundamentally probably disagree on absolutely everything? That sounds so exhausting. But again, just because I would not choose that doesn't mean that she isn't exactly where she wants to be. That's not what I'm saying. During an interview with Us Weekly, Kristen says of herself and Dax, "We don't believe in the one. We don't believe in the fairy tale. We don't believe that you can meet someone and you have a perfectly matching personalities. We are opposites and it takes a tremendous amount of work and therapy for us to coexist." Now, I'm a really big fan of therapy. I'm a really big fan of couples therapy, and I'm a really big fan of people like sorting their shit out, but you shouldn't need a tremendous amount of work and therapy in order just to coexist and be able to be around each other. That's not okay. That is definitely not okay in my opinion. So I want to show you another clip of Kristen talking about relationships.
What do you think people are also going to discover about their own love life watching season 2 of this?
your perfect puzzle piece is not out there. That doesn't exist. No one is meant to fit with you. There are so many different individuals, and when you meet someone that you are attracted to for any reason, physically or otherwise, you have to decide, and you get to decide too, how much of the me you're willing to let go of in order to get the we. And everyone has different things they're willing to let go of, and that's all okay, but how much you're able to compromise while still not feeling like it's a threat to your identity. And that can be as big as converting religions to as small as where you keep your toothbrush. But hopefully realizing that you're keeping it away from your own identity and more about how can we come together, that it's not me against you, it's you and I sort of against the world.
A few things that I want to point out there. I think it's completely normal, natural to compromise in relationships. Duh, you can't just go around thinking about yourself all the time. That is completely true. But when it comes to how much can you compromise in order to make it work with a person, you shouldn't have to compromise on who you are as fundamentally as a person. It is completely normal and natural and appropriate and healthy to fine tune and to tweak and to accommodate and to adjust certain things in order to accommodate your partner, in order to consider the needs of someone else and in order to make it work. But you definitely shouldn't be changing completely who you are fundamentally as a person just so that you can coexist around another person, or else it wouldn't work. You shouldn't have to dilute yourself to be a completely different person. And I know she kind of alluded to that there by saying how much can you compromise without compromising your identity. But something tells me that Kristen has compromised a lot more than Dax. Something tells me that Kristen has accommodated a lot more than Dax. That's something that I believe. And also this thing of like, it's you and me against the world. Why is the world against you? Like, why? I think for Kristen and Dax, I feel like they face so much backlash because of their relationship. I feel like people have been questioning and criticizing their relationship for quite a while. And I feel like it does for them feel like it's us against the world, because so many people are probably against their relationship, including one of Kristen's best friends, Cher, who we will get to in just a few minutes. But I feel like that feeling of it's you and me against the world, babe, it's the two of us against the world. I'm like, you shouldn't. Why is the world against you? Why is the world against you in the first place? Why do you feel like a battle? Like your relationship is a battle. The world is also battling you. What's all this fighting going on just because you're in a relationship? That is not okay. It's not normal. And I don't like that normalization of it's you and me against the world. Why is the world even against you? Why do people not like you together? That's my question. Why is there so much criticism? Why is there so much backlash just because you're in a relationship? That doesn't really make sense to me. There's also a little bit of energy from Kristen, like, I'm not like other girls. I've kind of gotten that vibe from her as well. And this kind of showed me a little bit more of that I'm not like other girls energy, where she said about working with Russell Brand that she was aware of his reputation as a womanizer and quickly warned him not to get any ideas, although she conceded that the actor was a really sweet boy ... underneath. I made it really clear from the beginning that I would sock him if he tried anything, so he was intimidated, truth be told. Actually, I loved working with Russell. I may be the only woman in the world who would shout that from the rooftops, but I did. Now, at the time, Russell was just a bit of a scoundrel, a bit of a fucking fuck boy. He wasn't, the allegations weren't out there, so she didn't know that at the time, but it kind of is this like, I know lots of other women have had a terrible time with Russell, but I might be the only woman on earth who's actually enjoyed spending time with Russell. I'm different. I'm not like the other girls. And I know this, just because of this one statement doesn't mean that she is one of those girls, I'm not like the other girls kind of girls, but I kind of get the vibe from her that she is like that. I kind of get the vibe from her that she thinks that because Dax went for her or settled for her, in my opinion, just my opinion, allegedly, I feel like she believes that because Dax settled for her or ended up with her in the end, even through gritted teeth, even white knuckling it, I feel like she thinks that that means something, that this man chose her, so that must mean something about her. So I want to show you a clip from one of the podcasts that they were on, the Life's Too Short podcast, where they spoke about one of their arguments. And I want to play this.
We talk about the fact that we do fight, we do go to therapy, we dislike each other a lot sometimes.
Do you ever sit with that too long, that not liking each other? I would imagine like that dissipates at a certain point.
It was about things around the house that I felt I needed help with. And we have a relationship where you are supposed to be able to say, I need your help with this. I left at 10 a.m. I wasn't going to be back till 2:30. That's a nice chunk of your Sunday that you have off, right? I left a note and I was like, hey, Dad, would you mind taking the 2, I'm holding up 2 because that's how many there were, towels in the dryer and folding them, and then like one other thing, right? And I thought, that's 10 minutes of work. I can say that because the at that point, the house was getting to be a lot for me. That's like everybody... Just like the keeping up with all the mom stuff. The kids, the shoes are always being outgrown. I'm the one ordering that, whatever.
You do most of that. You do. Yeah. What is the role?
Well, I did.
Okay.
Until this fight.
Oh boy. Okay.
Monday night, we're laying in bed, and he turns over, and I know I can sense him like a puppy can sense when you're about to get angry. I can sense it in him 2 seconds before it happens. And he goes, when you leave me notes, I feel really controlled. I said to myself immediately, like, don't react. And I said, okay, I totally hear you. It will never happen again. If I need something to be done around the house, what is a way that I could do it that you'd be okay with hearing? What's a better way I could do it? And somehow then we both blacked out and got into a fight. And I don't actually remember what happened, but what transpired was a lot of volume, a lot of harsh words being thrown around, and it was an angry fight, right? About how nobody does anything for anybody else, right? We were getting things out of the...
There was stuff that was buried.
Big time. Yeah, okay. I grabbed my pillow and I stomped on the hall and I sleep in the front room and I'm crying, right? And we don't talk for 3 days.
So she literally asked him to do the tiniest bare minimum of help around the house. And then that guy who was interviewing them, Justin Long, said, so what way is the work split, that you do everything in the home? And she goes, well, I used to. So there's a clip of him saying that she earns way more money than him. And she also does most of the work at home. They have 2 kids together, by the way, also. So this is what I mean about like, what about this man is so great? He doesn't even help around the home. He argues with you because you asked him to wash 2 towels. You are out making money, more money than him. So he's at home and you're asking him to just do the tiniest thing. Can you wash these 2 towels? Can you put these 2 towels in the dryer? And he is blacking out, saying that you're controlling him because you ask him for help. Like, no, excuse me, like absolutely not. I think there's a dynamic going on that because Bell, what's his name? Dax Shepard didn't want her at the start. So it created this like push-pull dynamic, or created this dynamic where she was chasing him and looking for that validation, looking to be chosen from him. If he was absolutely insane about her from the start, I'm not sure if it would have played out this way. I think him kind of keeping her at arm's length and dating all these other women and not necessarily choosing her immediately and comparing her to other women in some way, or making her feel like she wasn't good enough because he still had all these other women around, and then finally choosing her. She thinks that means something. I don't know. He thinks that she should be grateful that he's not out here sleeping with other women, and he won't even help her when she asks him to put a towel away. It's all just, do you see what I mean? When you just see 1 or 2 interviews, it's kind of like, okay, they just have a weird, feisty, fiery dynamic. But when you actually like listen to a lot of this stuff, it's like, it's all very unusual. There's a clip here that I wanted to show you. It's an interview with Kelly Clarkson. Now, I found this really fucking bizarre, and I don't see enough people talking about it, so I'm going to mention it here. This is a clip from the Armchair Expert episode with Kelly Clarkson, where they were talking about going to jail. And the Kelly Clarkson and the other woman, I can't remember, Dax Shepard's co-host for Armchair Expert, they were talking about, well, I know that I would never go to jail for being a rapist.
But then in talking about it, we decided I can't say that.
She wouldn't right now with a big full life that's working.
That's okay. There are certain things you can say.
No,
I'll never.
you could vehicular manslaughter
But that's
on
not
that.
murder.
Things happen.
Yeah, I don't
kill
know.
someone,
If somebody did something to my child, maybe I'll take that back. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
There are
yeah.
things.
There's a lot of scenarios in which I could murder.
I will say though, this is what I don't get about.
Like, you don't like my jacket?
And it's
I'll
like,
kill you.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
like,
that's one of them.
I don't get people. I'm like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah,
Deep down, because it's not the fucking jacket. It's like, what's happening?
I said I would never I could 100% promise I wouldn't go to jail for rape unless I was being falsely convicted. But I know I can say that for certain that I'm not going to do that.
Fucking jacket. It's like, what's happening?
I said I would never I could 100% promise I wouldn't go to jail for rape unless I was being falsely convicted. But I know I can say that for certain that I'm not going to do that.
Although I painted a scenario.
How?
But it wasn't
I would love to hear this scenario.
Here's the scenario.
Okay.
The love of her life is Matt Damon. Luckily, he's been here and kissed her on the head. So that part of her, that
He's
chapter.
nice.
So nice.
Yeah.
And he's a sweetheart.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
So Matt's over. They're having some cocktails. He gets too drunk. He passes out. He's going to have to sleep here. Ugh. We shouldn't leave these shoes on him. Let's get his shoes up.
You're thinking like a dude.
No.
Exactly. That's what I said.
No.
I said I wouldn't even.
Girls don't. I wouldn't even touch him.
I know.
You want to take his shoes off?
No, you got yourself in this mess, brother. Figure your own shit out.
I'll let it leave the shoes.
I mean, my girlfriend, if like my girlfriend's like that, I'll help her even get changed, but not a dude.
Okay.
Girls don't
What if
have
the
to-
love of your life is over and he passes out?
The love of my life at some point has been completely drunk, and I've done that to him, and we still don't.
You're on your
You
own.
weren't finding it attractive enough to then kiss him
No,
or
that's not all I said was first the shoes would come off.
Okay.
You're like, okay, right, his shoes are off. He's going to sleep much better with these shoes off.
Right.
And then he's like, oh, no one wants to sleep in denim jeans.
See,
and
Those
this
are
is
so
all.
tight and uncomfortable.
Yes, exactly. They're cumbersome. He's going to wake up like, oh, get me out of these. Right now, it's all defendable. Then she removes.
It's not defendable
It's
when this guy
is.
wakes up and his pants are off.
Exactly. That's what
Hold
I
on.
said.
She takes the pants off. Uh-oh. We didn't know Matt Damon is a raw dogger. He's riding. He's
You
riding
mean
raw.
commando?
He's riding raw.
Okay,
So now when the
wait.
pants come off, all of a sudden now we're confronted with Matt Damon's
Pee-pee.
penis and testicles.
Which is
And we're
totally
gonna-
inappropriate to go near
Yeah.
if he's passed out.
We're not going to
Agreed.
go near him, but she's going to stare for a while.
Oh my
okay?
God.
See-
I love that we're getting more insight to you and less about her.
yeah.
It is.
Well, I don't feel bad at all because it's a dude. Like, I wouldn't be able to have this hypothetical with a woman involved, but with a dude, if Monica takes his pants off and stares at his penis, good for him. Congratulations,
Okay.
brother. Let me high five you.
Oh my God.
But I'm not
that-
doing
I'm not
it.
feeling bad for him.
I'm not doing it. I just want to
I'm not
remind you,
gonna-
I'm
Yeah,
not
I'm not
doing
doing
it.
that. Not doing it.
going to do
I'm not gonna do it.
Okay.
Anyway,
okay.
we really took a
What's
detour.
the segue from Matt Damon's penis?
Okay, so I just wanted to play that interview. It has nothing to do with Kristen Bell, obviously, but it's just to show you the type of humor that Dax thinks is really funny. And again, this just to show the type of antagonistic, devil's advocate, hypothetical situation. And again, a hypothetical situation about stuff that is like really not funny or not appropriate, and putting his armchair expert guests on the spot with these like horrible scenarios. And he's even like, I'm only doing this because he's a dude. I would never talk about this if it was a woman. And it's like, I don't know. Dax Shepard also made Jonathan Van Ness cry and walk off on his interview during the Armchair Experts. The podcast was heavily edited, so I'm not even going to include clips of the podcast because it actually, listen to Jonathan Van Ness talking about it afterwards when he was interviewed about his experience with Dax Shepard. I don't think there's any point in playing the podcast clip because it was so highly edited.
Are you and Dax good? I think Dax and I are good. You know, I haven't spoken with him since. You didn't expect to go into that. And also, it was really edited. I had a feeling that it would be edited. I just wished that I could have had a transcript or like had insight into what that edit would be. I thought he was very brave to release it. I thought that he could have edited. Oh, no. Oh, to be clear, he was very edited. That was not exactly what went down. Yeah. I would say it was worse. You thought he might not release the episode. Yes. If a more accurate edit existed, I think you would see why I cried.
So that's basically the reason why I didn't even want to include the clip of Jonathan Van Ness's interview, because it was so highly edited and people were like, I can't believe Jonathan Van Ness cried about this, because and the reason he was crying was because the reason he was crying was all edited out anyway. But anyway, so I don't want to include that, but I just wanted to include that so I didn't want to include the full podcast episode or whatever, but I just wanted to include the fact that he did upset Jonathan Van Ness and that he was very antagonistic towards him and very devil's advocate-y towards Jonathan Van Ness, which is just his energy overall. It just seems to be that really sparky, antagonistic energy, which is super unattractive, super unattractive. There's also this clip. Okay, there's two more clips I want to show you before we get into the Cher stuff, okay? There's a clip of Dax Shepard talking to his bestie, one of his besties, Ashton Kutcher, about Ashton Kutcher's work with working for helping children who are being abused online and child abuse images and all that kind of stuff. So this is interesting.
I came across the most disturbing conversation between Ashton Kutcher and Dax Shepard on The Armchair Expert about Ashton Kutcher's involvement in We, which was his organization to catch online adult predators of children. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just me. I'm going to let you listen, but I want to hear what you think, because I don't think it's just me.
I mean, right now we're trying to eliminate child pornography from the internet. Okay. And so I've seen some shit that you can't unsee, like nasty. And I've gone on FBI raids. You have? Yeah, and there are two distinct types of individuals that engage in this behavior. And some of them are just lost souls, right? Where they've just, gone, like, at a very young age, they were exposed to this stuff. Right. And then they started to find a sexual interest in this material online, which was readily available, and become obsessed with it. And then they, do a hands-on offense, because the only way you can actually get into the chat rooms with the new material is to actually present a new piece of content. Oh, like good faith money in a con. There's that type of person. Yeah. Which I actually have personal empathy for, where I go, man, you're just a person that went down the wrong track. And then you've got the other type of person who actually, like, has a lack of repression, and you go like, I have less compassion, but at the same time I go, shouldn't we be able to study these human brains and find a way to remedy this? And I found myself in a position where I actually have empathy. I've never had to fight the urge to touch a child. Never. I'm not walking around battling that. And I'm aware of how grateful I am that that's not one of the things I have to battle. Well, by the way, I think we can strive for great justice in handling it all, and even being severe in that justice. But I also think you could be compassionate towards who would want to be on planet Earth with that desire. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, move it over and think about, like, an urge for alcohol or an urge for drugs, and go, that's what I got to deal with every day. Oh, I can't. And my urge is to touch small children. Yeah. Like, the worst thing to live with ever. Oh, I'd rather have any other thing. Literally. Give it to me. Lou Gehrig's, I'll take it. Anything. Is that how you say it? Lou Gehrig's?
Sure, Gehrig's.
Gehrig's?
Yeah.
Baseball player. Ooh, what a
Great
terrible,
baseball
great, unbelievable. There was also, Monica, what was the name of the,
And we remember everything that happened with DeVay Chase, right? Right? From the ring? No? Or how Diddy and Ashton Kutcher were behind Tiny Chat and that whole situation?
I actually don't know what she was talking about in the last two clips about Ashton Kutcher being involved with Diddy or involved in any of the other kind of like shady things. Maybe that's a video that I need to deep dive for another day. I just found that conversation really bizarre. I think Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis are fucking weirdos, to be honest, and maybe I'll talk about their relationship in another video, but they're kind of weirdos for different reasons. But Dax Shepard here again, being so grateful that he's not a PDF file, feeling so grateful that he doesn't have the urge to touch children, and still showing some sort of compassion towards people who harm children. No, 100% of my compassion goes towards the child in that situation. You will never catch me feeling fucking sorry for a man who harms an innocent child. Leave me alone with that man in a room with a hammer. That's how much compassion I have for fucking PDF files. Anyway, again, just really bizarre, really weird. Why did Ashton immediately talk about the empathy that he has for the men who are committing these crimes or looking at this material instead of immediately having empathy for the children that are being harmed? Why does your empathy immediately land? Like, first of all, your empathy lands on the perpetrators. This gives me suspicious vibes because it's almost like when men will immediately try and find compassion and understanding for like a rapist, or they'll try and justify it somehow. Well, maybe this, instead of just, well, maybe he's a rapist, and your empathy and compassion should go immediately towards the victim. Do you know what I mean? Well, maybe this, maybe we don't know all the context. We don't have all the nuance. They're always trying to find some excuse. Not all men, blah, 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 we know. But it kind of gives me the same vibe where they're immediately, their empathy and the understanding of it, trying to dissect it, trying to understand it, goes towards the perpetrator instead of immediately towards the innocent victim, a child. No, thank you. Anywho, let's go on to the interview with Cher, and let's look at a few clips of Dax Shepard talking to the Cher. So for anyone who doesn't know, Cher is an absolute fucking legend, and she is friends with Kristen Bell. Kristen, whatever. She's friends with Kristen Bell because they appeared in Burlesque together. That was like 15 years ago. So they've had a really long friendship over the course of 15 years. For that entire 15 years, Kristen has been with Dax. So Cher has also known Dax for 15 years. I just wanted to put that context out there too. So let's have a look at some of the clips from the interview with Dax Shepard and Cher. So before Dax even spoke about this was obviously the most viral clip, who would you like to see Kristen with? Before he even spoke about that, he was speaking about her past abusive relationships. He was speaking about her mother and how many times her mother had been married. He was kind of asking these really weird questions in like a really like kind of way that like just rubbed me up the wrong way. It wasn't like he was necessarily being disrespectful, but he was just like not giving her the correct energy, the energy that you should show up with, the energy that you should like arrive with when you're speaking to Cher. Do you know what I mean?
Who would you like to see Kristen with? If you got to pick from every available bachelor, they don't even have to be available. They can be some taken ones if you want. Who would be your dream partner for her? Because I know you think she could do better, and I don't disagree. Who would be your pick?
I don't know.
Brad Pitt, maybe?
Being self-deprecating right now. He's
I just want to know who she thinks your dream catch would be. There's some people I have that I think are good.
You've never thought about that.
No.
She's just
not sold yet on me.
She's not sold yet. Well, you don't have the relationship.
I don't have the talent of either of you guys, so I mean that part.
No, but the truth is, I trust her, so you must have something that I don't see.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so in that clip particularly, I think it's interesting that they've known each other for 15 years. She's known Dax Shepard for 15 years. She's known Kristen Bell for 15 years. And in the entire 15 years, she hasn't seen any reason why Kristen would be with Dax. She must have something that I don't see. You haven't seen any of it in 15 years. In 15 years, you have not seen any of the reasons why you understand why your friend has chosen this man. That's really, really, really telling. And the thing about Dax in this particular interview is that he's weaponizing his insecurity. I know you're not sold on me yet. I know you don't like me. Who would you rather see her with? And the thing is, no matter how she answers, he can weaponize it. So if she said, well, actually, yeah, I don't really like you and I'm not really sold on you yet, and I actually think she'd be much better with Brad Pitt, Dax can then use that to be like, oh, poor me, like your friend said something really awful about me, and then Kristen has to be like, no, and she has to do damage control, and she has to be the shock absorber for that situation and make him feel better and big him up or whatever. But then so that's one reaction that he was looking for, in which he could have won. The next reaction would be for Cher to be like, no, you're actually really great, and these are all the reasons why I like you, and these are all the reasons why I think you're a great partner. So he's getting the validation no matter which way she answers. If she says something negative or if she says something positive, he's getting validation, and he is ultimately going to like weaponize that situation in order to come out in his favor. This is my opinion. This is just what I see. This is why I think she answered in the best way possible. She didn't really give him very much. She wasn't being very rude. She could have said something way worse. I'm sure most of us would have said something far worse to Dax Shepard if we were asked that question.
Well, Cher, I adore you, and I understand nobody's good enough for her, and I expect that to be
Trust
the
me,
reaction.
he's a slow burner. You're gonna learn
Before you talk.
Yes, he's almost too good for me.
He's almost too good for me. Girl, you are brainwashed. I think she is absolutely brainwashed if she thinks that Dax Shepard is too good for her. That's... but maybe it's true. I don't know. Maybe they are actually really, really good together, and they are really amazing, and they have this amazing relationship, and both of them are exactly where they want to be. It's not up to me to say that. I'm just pointing out the ways that this man is just clearly someone that I would absolutely never go for. Like, never go for. This is, in my opinion, a dangerous man. I think he would break you down. I think he would have you feeling really insecure.
Reese Witherspoon said that too. She said there's something about women, like a smart, strong, awesome, funny woman. If they're with a man, you're like, there must be something to that man.
Absolutely.
There's a lot to this man.
Right.
He's tall. No, I'll tell you the thing that you should like about me.
Okay.
I'm not threatened by her shining. I love it.
True.
The shinier she gets, the better.
Alexander is that way too. The more I shine, the more he has fun.
So again, it's like turning the conversation back on himself. These are the reasons why you should like me. The self-deprecating, he's tall, that's the only thing that's good about me. And then being like, no, these are the reasons why I'm actually really good. I'm not threatened by her success. I'm not threatened by her sparkle. Meaning most men would be very threatened by a woman's success, but I'm so great because I'm not. And it's like this idea that he can benefit from the behaviors and actions of like really shitty men. Most other men would be so threatened by her, and me not being threatened by her success means that I'm such a good guy, and that means that you should be like happy that your friend is with someone like me because I'm not threatened by her success. That's it. That's the only thing you could think of. Oh my God, we also forgot to talk about their anniversary post that went viral on Instagram. So it says, Kristen Bell says, happy 12th anniversary to the man who once said to me, I would never kill you. A lot of men have killed their wives at a certain point. Even though I'm heavily incentivized to kill you, I never would. What the fuck? So bizarre. But again, if this is their humor, then like, ha ha ha, I guess. But I think Dax feels like he should be praised for not doing the things that really horrible men would do. I think Dax is really horrible in his own way, but he feels like, I don't kill you, therefore I'm really good. Other men have killed their wives, I don't kill you. I don't cheat on you, I should be praised every time I walk in the door because I don't cheat on you. I am not threatened by your success, therefore I'm a fucking really good man. A lot of other men would be threatened, but I'm not. And it's like, again, these are not reasons to like celebrate. Yay, my man doesn't cheat on me. Yay, my man hasn't killed me. Yay, my man isn't threatened by my success, therefore he's a fucking amazing person. No, you're just comparing yourself to like really fucking awful shitty men and thinking that you're great because you're not doing those horrible actions. That does not make you really good. It does not make you really good. I have had 2 men in my lives say to me at different points, I don't even hit you. You should be lucky. You're lucky that I don't even hit you. You should be grateful that I don't even hit you. So why are you complaining about all these other things I do? Because I don't even hit you. I should be grateful that you don't hit me. I should be grateful. I should just ignore all the other ways that you're awful and the other ways that you're negatively impacting me and just be really grateful that at least this guy doesn't hit me. Other guys can hit me, or other men might hit me, but this guy doesn't hit me. So I should just keep my fucking mouth shut and be really grateful that they don't hit me. And I also think Kristen is like a self-identified cool girl. Like a lot of other girls wouldn't be okay with this, but I'm okay with it. And I'm not like the other girls. That kind of energy I do kind of feel from her a little bit. And yeah, I think she does a lot of damage control for him. I think she runs a lot of interference for him, for Dax Shepard. And I feel like she was doing that in the interview as well, being like, no, he's just self-deprecating, and trying to kind of, be the shock absorber for her friend, so that it, you know what I mean, that kind of thing, where you're running damage control for your partner when your partner is doing something inappropriate or embarrassing. There's also this energy I feel from her being like, no, there's so much to this man that you just don't know. You guys don't know him the way I do. Well, he puts out so much content. He talks nonstop about himself for years and years and years, and people still really don't like him. And also, your friend Cher has known him for 15 years, and you're still saying to her, well, no, there's a lot to this man. There's loads. And it's like, I understand that, like, behind closed doors, you know, there is a certain level of intimacy and connection that you share with your partner that doesn't necessarily get projected outwards, that people aren't obviously aware of. I completely understand that, but after 15 years of knowing someone, of knowing your friend's partner, you should at least understand why they want to be with him. I think Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard are also one of these couples who I've spoken about before that are like, we fight for our love, and it's like this idea of struggle love, that your love has to be a fight and you have to work so hard at it every day and go to all this therapy and all this kind of stuff. And no, like I absolutely just refuse to believe that love is that difficult and that relationships are that hard and that you need to fight and struggle and go to therapy all the time just to be around someone else. I don't believe so. So after she posted that thing on Instagram and they got loads of backlash from it, this was in a newspaper. Despite the backlash to Bell's recent post, insiders maintain that the couple's relationship, while intense, remains intact. They fight, they make up, they go back to therapy, one source says. That's how they work. And again, if both of these people are happy to be in that dynamic, then power to them. But I just really don't want people to normalize this. My man drags me through loads of shit and we've been through loads of shit together, when it's literally just him being diabolical and her just being endlessly supportive and endlessly compassionate and endlessly accommodating to his absolute nonsense. I do not want to. That's why I'm talking about this. So if anyone is in a dynamic like this, I've been in dynamics like this before, and never again, never again. And where you're constantly just making excuses, constantly just being the shock absorber for someone else's dysfunction that they refuse to accept. Oh my God, actually, let's watch one more clip of, I forgot about this, the Theo Von interviews. There's so many clips of Dax Shepard and Theo Von. There's just so much to say. Dax just talks so much, like he really just talks so much. Let's look at this clip where he's talking about his mom.
I had a great relationship with my mom, but it kept getting punctuated by stepdads.
Oh, really?
So
you had unlimited stepdads?
Yeah, I had
almost like unlimited shrimp over at Red Lobster.
Yeah. It was bottomless stepdads, the sizzler of stepdads. Yeah. But so it would be like super connected, and it'd just be the four of us, my little sister, my brother, and my mom, and that was always perfect. But then a new guy would roll in, and then it was like his program, and we had to have different manners at the table. And she'd be distracted, understandably. She's like in her 20s, raising 3 kids by herself. I have no resentment towards her about it all. But yeah, there was like, and I just fucking craved it. I wanted to be loved at all times by a woman. I still want to be.
Yeah.
Like my needs are unrealistic.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah,
like if I'm dead honest and I'm in therapy, my therapist will be like, you know, it's not Kristen's job. Like, she's not your mom. She's not going to dote on you and be infatuated with your existence. And I'm like, wait, that's not anyone. Shouldn't I be doted on and celebrated?
So he wants all of this love from Kristen, and he just expects her to act like his mommy, and he expects this like praise. I'm doing so much, I'm not fucking other women. He expects so much from Kristen, like just his existence, just to be absolutely on her hands and knees because this man exists. And she asked him to wash 2 towels and he threw a fucking hissy fit.
I'm not banging anyone. Shouldn't I be doted on and celebrated every time I walk through the door? Shouldn't there be a parade? Shouldn't my daughter's like, every day I've not left? Shouldn't they be like, God damn it, Dad, we got one of the good ones. I know your dad was out at 3. But no one's proud of me. No one cares. I had the fantasy that to be.
So again, this idea that like other men left their children, I should be praised for not leaving my children. Other men would have left their families high and dry, but I haven't. So therefore I'm a good one. And it's like, you don't get to compare yourself to really shit men and think just because I don't do that, therefore I'm a good guy. Hell no. Hell no. No, 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 no.
Of it would solve it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I see what's happening. I'm just trying to get, I'm trying to heal. Oh God, I could go super deep, which is like, and this is recent, and this is probably too much for your show or the dudes who listen to this, but.
No, dude, if I crown you one more time, I'm literally turning into the Garth Brooks of podcasts.
Yeah, me too. I've been crying all the time. I didn't cry for 30 years, and now I can't make it through a day without crying.
Bro, it's like.
It's from fucking being sober.
Yeah.
It's like you got the medicine, you don't have anything to numb it, and here it is. But I also think like there was a sexual component, which is like, okay, so my mom adores me. That's obvious. I was the golden child. I did not lack for a mom who believed in me or supported me or thought I was wonderful. She definitely did. But something would take her away from me. And I was smart enough to realize, oh, we can't fulfill this romantic desire of hers. Like, that's something we can't fulfill. She's going to have to go get boyfriends.
Right.
AKA, she's going to have a sexual relationship with people.
Right.
So I think in some weird way, and I think I'm just starting to understand this aspect, which is like, I have to give that to any woman if I want her to stay around in a way that is world class, and you don't want to go shopping for more. Like the priority I put on that part, the sexual part, I think was very outsized for what a woman would even give a shit about.
Oh,
Just
so
as
you
a little
thought-
kid, I was like, the only thing I don't have that my mom needs is
the sexual
sex.
part. So I need
and
to
that's
be
what I want her to stay at all times, and I don't want any of these guys to come around. So if I'm having this experience that also feels loving and nurturing with a female, my thought is like I have to give her that thing in a way that she'll never go need it and leave me for it.
God, that sounds kind of exhausting.
Okay, so what in the Oedipus is going on there? What in the Sigmund Freud is going on there? Editing Kate here. I just wanted to jump in because I just realized that what he just said is actually directly contradictory to what he said earlier when they were doing the interview in the car, when he said that he wouldn't care if Kristen was having sex with someone else. He would only care how it affected him. But in this clip, he's saying that he needs to make sure that he gives women loads of sex and really good sex so that they don't leave him, because his mommy needed sex from men, because obviously she wasn't having sex with him, because that was the one thing that he couldn't give her in his eyes, in his perspective. So I just wanted to point that out. Like, a 10 out of 10, I can just tell that there's no way. I'm trying not to be mean, but like, I just don't think that Dax Shepard looks like he would be good at anything in the bedroom. I'm just saying. Anyway, I'm going to end this. So that's just another clip that I found interesting. So yeah, we'll just leave it at that. I'm going to end this with a compilation of some of the worst clips from the Cher interview that I haven't spoke about, but I'll leave them here. Okay. Well, thank you for being here, and I will see you on the next video.
You haven't even seen me with my shirt off yet, which you'll see on the way out.
That's
I'll
pretty
pop it
premium
off.
as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
You don't want your man to behave like a child.
No, well,
right?
except
sometimes they
In the
do.
bedroom.
No.
I'm not going to intrude on the rest of your interview, so I'll leave you with this.
Okay.
I often get...
No, don't go.
Why?
Because I want you here.
It's crazy you didn't do drugs, given that your biological dad was a junkie.
And both my husbands.
Both husbands, junkies. Yeah, so that's crazy. But your mom did 7 or 8 marriages along
I
the
think
way.
6. I don't know. She married my dad twice for some reason.
So we don't know how to count that. It's because you've been trained on like 65 different stepdads. But he drank.
Oh, yes.
He had a drinking problem.
Oh, yes.
And he got violent.
Yeah.
You were super attractive. You're 16, with living on your own at 16,
Beverly
and
Hills.
you're hot. My last question is,
Oh, I didn't think it would ever end.
I like the combo of tough and fragile.
Yeah.
It's very appealing. Have you ever joined a marriage? You
What does
tried
that
that
mean?
yet? Where you join an existing marriage?
He's offering you to join their marriage.
Yeah, let's swing through. Couldn't be more grateful. Ultimately, I'm in this house with this woman and these 2 kids. I wouldn't
You're
change
lucky.
a thing. Right. It's
She's
golden.
definitely the better half.
Yeah. Who would you like to see Kristen with? If you got to pick from every available bachelor. Oh, they don't even have to be available. They can be some taken ones if you want. Who would be your dream partner for her? So I know you think she could do better. And I don't disagree. Who would be your pick?
I don't know.
Brad Pitt, maybe?
Self-deprecating right now. He's
I just want to know who she thinks your dream catch would be. There's some people I have that I think are good.
You've never thought about that.
No. But the truth is, I trust her, so you must have something that I don't see.
Well, Cher,
It's been fascinating.